Welcome back. Montana continually ranks among the top states in the nation for suicide rates. Tonight, we continue our MTN Zero Suicide Initiative series of stories looking at our state suicide rate and, even more importantly, the people and lives of Montanans. We want to start conversations and ultimately reduce the suicide rate. Now we look at those who've served in the military. On average, across the nation, 20 veterans die by suicide each day.
Our veterans matter. They matter.
Get help, come forward.
1 out of every 10 Montanans has answered the call to serve in the military, each with their own unique story of service and experience, and some with invisible wounds.
Veterans have a unique experience in that they're exposed to dangers that potentially increase their risk of mental illness if treatment isn't sought, and then increase their risk for suicide. And so add that to the culture of don't tell anyone when you're feeling mentally ill or don't share, then there's this really silent struggle that our veterans deal with.
In a recently released report conducted by the U.S. Department of Veterans Affairs, Montana ranks first in the nation among veterans who have died by suicide. Specifically examining deaths in 2014, the report indicates 58 Montana veterans died by suicide. Veterans ages 35 to 54 made up the largest percentage, followed closely by those ages 55 to 74. Compared to the rest of the country, after accounting for difference in age, the report finds the veteran suicide rate in Montana significantly higher than the national rate. Under the Big Sky, where Montana has for decades ranked as one of the top states in the country for suicide deaths, veteran deaths by suicide made up roughly 24% of suicide deaths in the state. The rate for veterans is more than double that for the entire population.
The different triggers from different wars are what impact the combat veteran the most, because that particular trigger puts them right back into a self-preservation mode. Many veterans deal with the stigma of mental health in a negative way, and they feel that they have to isolate and just hold back their emotions and things, and that's when tragedies occur, when they try to make that kind of emotional pain go away.
According to the Montana VA, veterans are more likely to attempt suicide by firearm, and 85 to 90% of those who attempt suicide by firearm will die. Of the 58 veterans who died by suicide in 2014, nearly 64% involved a firearm. Resources are available across the state, and places like the VA are working to ramp up suicide prevention efforts with programs like Coaching for Care and the Reach Vet program. The VA also has a Veterans Crisis Line. Between October 2016 and September of 2017, 453 veterans have called that line. Hollows describes one call that saved a veteran's life.
Very distressed, a lot of things going on in his life, and very suicidal. So we completed what's called a safety plan, which has been shown to significantly reduce your risk for suicide.
Both Hollows and Parsetich urge family and friends of veterans to watch for warning signs such as behavior changes, a loss of interest in activities, or not wanting to interact in social circles. They say that oftentimes friends and families will be the ones to notice changes first and point the veteran to help.
So there is a fear there related to, if I talk about it, shame, something will be there. And we really have to, as a state, say, no, it's okay. It's okay to be depressed. It's okay to feel broken. It's okay to have these demons. And it's more okay to talk about it.
It's not a hopeless situation. When you come back from a horrific situation like that, that's perfectly normal, feeling that your world's been turned upside down. But you have a lot of value. Don't write yourself off.
And we have a lot of resources available for you and for anyone who needs it. Those resources are online. You can head to KRTV or KXLH.com, find the Zero Suicide Initiative link under the community.